like a lot of unstable weather today. Pouring rain, sunny, pouring rain, now sunny again. So hopefully I can get some practice in with the drone afterwards. Looks like there was some update with the Node Canada in regards to the Transport Canada regulations in terms of people getting their opinions out there. I'll talk a bit about that a little later because I was reading some other people's comments too about trying to submit their feedback where apparently it was rejected. So that's kind of interesting. Some fun stuff. I read this, something about a panda fail video. Apparently there were pandas in the Toronto Zoo. They uploaded this video of the pandas, I guess, doing really silly stuff. You guys can see it here. Apparently they're going to Calgary, like these pandas. I know there's quite a few people from Calgary that watch the videos here, right? I guess you guys will get to see these pandas in action. I've also been watching this Esport today of this Nintendo World Championship. It's still going on. I've been just trying to catch up as I've been doing my stuff. To me, it's really cool seeing people of a different variety of backgrounds enjoying a hobby and competition. I know a lot of people, when it comes to esports, they're still like, what the heck is this? A bunch of people playing video games? You call that a sport? I remember before on ESPN they showed one, and apparently all the viewers, they went to the social media, it's like, what is this? You call this a sport? I mean, that's just the way it is right now. It reminds me again with tech hobbies, like even drones. Hopefully people can open up their minds. Like there's different ways that people can be competitive and enjoy a hobby like this. I know for myself, having that background in things like the video games helps a lot in flying the drone in terms of being comfortable with the controls at the same time, just the reaction time and everything like that as well. So for the drone regulation stuff we would know, I got this email that says protect your ability to fly. I guess like last time they kind of give you a template form where if you press submit, I guess it sends it to the correct person who you're supposed to contact. And it says here, we need you to submit comments on these draft rules for your Canadian officials and Transport Canada. Your deadline is October 13th, as you all know. What is all this? Generally speaking, like last time, they're asking people to be polite in your message and try to focus on two important points. One of them, they said they want to emphasize things like the insurance and the zones in terms of where people can fly. While they do list a bunch of key topics, again, they encourage people to choose their two best, so to speak, and basically focus on that. The first one, they say, recreational users shouldn't have to buy a $100,000 liability insurance policy, which will likely cost as much as their drone per year. In order to fly recreational drones, do not warrant this expense. Recreational users and commercial users should not be grouped together under the same set of regulations. They fly for different reasons and have different risk factors. A simpler and clearer set of rules for recreational users will help promote compliance and safety. All makes sense, right? The point about, you know, the kids being involved in the tech is actually important for the growth of it, and it makes sense. I mean, if you're that paranoid, just say you have to have an adult supervision or something like that. Although honestly, again, with a toy drone in a backyard or something like that, that shouldn't be illegal. It's a little ridiculous. This one's a big one for most people. A drone enthusiast's privacy shouldn't be put at risk every time they fly their drone. Transport Canada needs a better solution for identifying downed drones than requiring the pilot's name, contact information being placed on their drone. To me, that's such a common sense thing. I don't even know how they can get away with that in general. This was kind of an interesting comparison for the weight class. Lumping drones the size and weight of a can of soda in with large drones make no sense. Small drones under 1 kg should remain very lightly regulated because they pose little or no threat to people and property. I assume that can reference to things like the Spark, but again, like I just don't see how people can't see the common sense where it's something that small and all the other things in life that we allow. And then the last 2 points, the first one being a blanket restriction on flying anywhere near aerodomes, near people and property, and within controlled airspace, which covers most cities, will continue to make it nearly impossible for responsible drone pilots to fly drones anywhere near where people live. And then this example, they use different countries. They say other countries like Australia are getting the balance between the freedom to fly and safety right. And Transport Canada should be looking at these countries as an example of how to make good regulations that encourage safe and responsible drone use. I mean, to me, it all makes sense. It just comes down to, there should be more common sense and not the need for all this regulation. Although it's kind of funny how they don't mention United States instead in terms of the policy. Is it just because they, or Transport Canada always says that's what they're modeling their rules out of, is the US? And I still remember Australia. I remember that lady, the one with the politician or something like that, the one that flew the drone. She got investigated. I actually never caught up with what happened with that case. One point I would want to say, I just don't know how to word it in a very formal or polite way, is stop regulating stuff that have nothing to do with safety. Like for example, if I was to fly in a perfectly safe and legal place right now and I took a video, remember about the things like, hey, sharing your video here and here, that considered as commercial, like what does that have to do with safety? Like I would say, like, stop trying to regulate stuff that have absolutely nothing to do with the public safety or anything like that, where it seems like it's more about, I don't know, protecting like commercial interests in many ways, in my opinion. So with sending in the feedback, I guess that gives you a template to work with for those who are too, I guess, don't have the time to write out something very thorough or formal. But that's what got me interested, because in one of those forums at Let's Talk Drones, this guy said he apparently sent in his email to the Transport Canada to state his opinion and feedback, and apparently, according to this anyways, he got a response saying he has to send in a hard copy, otherwise it doesn't really count. I'm like, what? I'm hoping that's just an error from the employee, like they're just being lazy and checking it. But even from the Transport Canada session, they said that email should count as the formal feedback, because they said themselves they are legally required to reply to people. So again, hopefully that's an error, but man, would that be a mess if they say no, everyone had to send in a hard copy because everything else doesn't count. Did you guys all send in your feedbacks yet, or are you still kind of thinking and gathering your thoughts before doing so? Well, it's kind of interesting too how some of you said you were actually waiting for me to see how long it took me to get this gimbal fiasco solved. I can't say it's clearly been solved completely yet, because I'm still here testing the drone and make sure everything actually works. But in terms of the days, in terms of how long it took, technically I believe from the day I actually sent it, not from the day when I contacted them, it took about 51 days for this whole thing to get resolved and me getting the drone back. Man, that's a long time if you think about it, just for sending back a support with all the disorganization and all that. But let's try to find somewhere to fly quickly and get some footage just to test it again, because the light's dying fast. Guess Christmas is coming fast, huh guys? Anyways, see you guys later.